Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is New 2, and today I'm going to be looking at the Mountain Starter deck. So, if you've been following my videos, you'll see I've been submitting some deck lists for you guys. We have an Impex Aggro deck list, and we also have a Cora Storm Forever Heals list as well, or like a strong healing deck. So we like these decks, but today what I'm going to be looking at is a starter deck. Now I haven't done a review like this for a while, and I thought I'd do something different, where instead of just going through the deck, unboxing it and going, oh, look at this, look at that, I thought what I would do is I'd bring it to you already sleeved, and we're just going to have just a quick overview really. We're just going to be looking at each card here, just for new players. Again, we're going to talk about attack cards, we're going to talk about defend cards, we're going to talk about buff cards, combos, your hero, really where to go from there, and also really, there's a lot of new players as well who've never even touched a TCG, who have experienced this for the first time by playing into the figures for Lightseekers. So we're going to help these people as well. We're just going to talk about how you would build a deck, what you want from a deck, and so on. So, what better place to start than the Mountain? We'll start at the top, right? So, Mountain is the colour red in this game. So, if you're completely unfamiliar with TCGs, red is normally considered a colour that deals with aggression in games. So rush decks that get monsters out very quickly or attack your opponent mercilessly. They don't focus on defense. Now, not so with our Mountain starter deck here. So like the Mountains, you can play this faction in a multiple different ways. You can play aggressive with it, but I think the starter deck gives you an all-rounder, so it's perfect for new players again who are really looking at something in between, and they can decide what playstyle they like. And what better hero to give you for this than Dolo the Mighty. Now, Dolo the Mighty is a fantastic, fantastic card. Probably one of the, maybe one of the best heroes in the game. He's certainly up there. He's tier 0, you might say, tier 1. So let's have a look at him. So Dolo the Mighty here at 31 health, which is very high for such an amazing ability here. So his ability is you take 2 damage and you get to draw 2 cards. Now you might say, well, I don't want to take the 2 damage. You know, I could just pass an action and draw 2 cards. But what makes this ability so good, the same like Trianu as well, and there's some other draw characters or heroes, is that you can do this as one of your actions, not after your actions are finished. So you can draw, take the card, and then play the card that you may have top decked. Now normally in Lightseekers, if you do draw, you draw at the end of your turn. So there's no lucky top decks in this game. You have to wait a turn afterwards. But Dolo gives you that opportunity. And, I mean, I draw 2 cards all day long. It's almost every other action is take 2, draw 2. So, he's brilliant. And he's got high health to boot. Now, and we can mitigate this damage loss as well with the cards that are involved in the deck here. Some defensive cards up here. We're going to go through them and I'll show you. But for now, let's just finish looking at him. So, the 3 mountain elements are fire, which is this little flame symbol here. Earth, obviously. And crystal. So, yeah, I guess they're kind of associated with mountains. I mean, if you look at Dolo here, and if you kind of see the theme of the deck, we kind of have our earthy kind of mountain guys, we have our kind of fiery guys, and we have our crystals as well. So the theme is all the way through. And if you play Legends of Zelda, I feel like these guys might be a little bit familiar to you. They remind me, well, I won't say, but they remind me of the characters, or some characters anyway. And Dolo's got a big hammer, what's not to love? So, Dolo there, a great hero. So when you buy this star set, you know you're in good hands straight away because you're in Dolo's hands. So, let's have a look at the attack cards. So, in this game, your deck is broken up into 2 main categories, which is action cards and combo cards. The majority of your cards will be action cards, and the minority will be your combo cards. But then your action cards break down into 3 on top of that. And they're split into attack cards, which, names on the tin, they're going to attack your opponent. Defend cards are not as clear. So defend cards can both heal you or prevent damage, or they do things, I guess, you would consider defensive. And finally, buff cards. And buff cards are really cool and a unique part of the game here. Buffs do all kinds of things, which we will talk about when we get there. But for now, all you have to think about is you've got your 3 sets. You've got your attack, you've got your defense, and you've got your buff. So let's have a look at our attacks. So we've got some, yeah, okay, let's have a look here. Flame Bat here. Flame Bat is your perfect example. It just says deal 5 damage. That means as soon as you play it down, you resolve the effect and you deal the 5 damage. So it's as vanilla as you want. You can see there you deal the 5 damage to Dolo. You know, you bring it down to 26. And that's exactly how it works. So Flame Bat here is the perfect example of your attack card. Just deals the damage straight away, resolves, goes to the discard. And you can see here he belongs to the element of fire, obviously, because it's a big flaming bat. And this corresponds to one of the elements on here. So you might notice that one of these elements for Dolo has a golden ring around it. That means that's his superior element. So in this game, you can only play one card of an element a turn that's not your superior element. So I could play 2 crystals, but I can't play 2 fire because I don't have a gold ring around this element here. So Flame Bat, nice and basic. But it's not all about basics here. So here we have another interesting card, which is Evrok Relic, which deals 3 damage. You think, 3 damage, that's okay. But it does another 3 damage if you're holding a combo card and move that combo card to your deck. So if one of these is in your hand, boom, you can hit them for 6 damage if you want to return that to your deck. So this is a very common theme here we can see in all of Lightseekers cards, is the damage scale or the damage gradient. So if you're going to be dealing 3 damage to your opponent, you will find, here we go, that's a good one here, Crystal Bat. So if you're going to be dealing 3 damage to your opponent, you will often find that there will be a benefit to you. So either you'll heal for 3, or you'll draw for 3, or you'll get something positive to compensate the lack of damage. Now, if you're dealing between 4 to 5 damage, that's it. You know, that's just going to be the damage. It's going to be vanilla. That's your kind of average. Now, if you're dealing 6 damage or more, you'll find that you'll have to do something to earn that. It will be a negative to you or a positive to your opponent. So you may either have to take a point of damage, or you may give your opponent the opportunity to draw a card, or like an Evrok Relic here, you have to shuffle a card from your hand back into your deck. So for new deck builders, this is always a good thing to think about, is the gradient scale. If you're going to play a defensive deck, you might want cards that benefit you, that might heal you, or that might draw you cards. Or if you're playing an aggressive deck, you might go, sod it, let's just deal that 6 damage and get it out as quickly as possible. We don't care about the opponent's benefits because we're going to win before they can capitalise on them. So, let's have a look at some of these other ones as well here. We've got 2 Crystal Leech. Now, Crystal Leech removes 2 buffs because, as we'll get onto it, buffs stay in play until they fully resolve. So they can be really pesky, so we want ways to get rid of them. And Crystal Leech is a really good one here. And burn simply means it can't be put from your discard pile back into your deck. So it just kind of stays there. It's almost like an exile in Magic. There's no remove from play in this game, but if it had it, it would be burn. So, Crystal Bat we've just seen on the lower gradient, but the positive gradient to you. 3 damage, heal yourself for 3. That's really good. Rock Rager, 3 damage. Increase this by 3 if you've been healed this turn. Now straight away we can see a combo here. You get to play 2 cards per turn. I'm going to play Crystal Bat, heal for 3, deal 3 damage. Then I'm going to follow that up with Rock Rager, deal 3 damage, and an additional 3 because I've healed for 3. So 9 damage in a turn is really good, plus the 3 heal. That's a 12 point in your favour. I really like that. What else have we got here? As we've seen already, we've got our Evrok Relics here, which is our shuffle our combos from our hand back into our deck. We've got our vanilla Flame Bats there, that 5 damage. Now, though it may sound like a negative vanilla, sometimes you need to do the damage. There's no point getting all fancy if you can't put the damage out. So I always run some of these in my deck. So Flame Bat for 5. Okay, here we go. We've got some more interesting attack cards here. And these will be deck exclusive, I believe. So Lava Bounce is our first one. It only deals 2 damage. But then the recipient of that damage moves 2 action cards of a category of your choosing from their hand to your deck. So basically, it's deal 2 damage, force your opponent to discard or at least shuffle back from their hand 2 cards. And in this game where drawing isn't mandatory, it happens only when you pass your actions, to deprive your opponent of cards is really good. Especially with Dolo, when you're drawing, you're sending their cards right back as well. So Lava Bounce is really good, and you get one of those in the trial deck. And finally here, Scrying Crystal. And again, a little bit like Lava Bouncer here. This is one of these control cards that just says, hey, do you know what? You're going to remove all those combo cards from your hand back into your deck. And you're going to take that damage as well. So that's really good. So often you might see opponents build up big hands sometimes. If you're playing the mirror match with Dolo. Well, there's a couple of other decks that build up big hands as well. You can just say Scrying Crystal, get all those combo cards back into the deck. Finally, what we have here is Unaligned Cards. Now, Unaligned Cards can go in any deck, and they don't have an element. So this is their negative. The negative is they cannot be used to pay for combo cards. So you might see here, as I mentioned before, you've got Crystal, you've got Fire, you've got Earth up here. So all these cards have elements which you can use to pay for combos. These guys don't. So let's have a look. Unbound Freeth here, deal 4 damage, and then heal for 3 if they've got more life for you. Pretty good. But again, negative side of that, you can't use them to pay for these things. And Sneaky Creeble, again, pretty good. Deal 4 damage regardless of any abilities that they have. Any damage reduction abilities. So that's just a straight 4 damage stab. Again, pretty good. But I'm not massively into unaligned cards. There's a couple that are really good. Tentosian Blacksmith, Creeble Potion Master. I think he's called Weapons Master as well. There's some really good ones. But me personally, I'm not a big fan of some of these. So, let's have a look here. Right, great card here. So now we're going to move on to our defend cards, which don't attack your opponent, but affect you. Attack cards affect your opponent, defend cards affect you. So, Boulder Feast, 6 healing. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. As we're chipping away our damage here with Dolo to draw cards, we can get that right back with Boulder Feast. We run, or the deck runs, a 1 Crystal Maze, which is 4 healing. And then any hero attacked, let's have a look, what does this say here? Any hero attacked, discards the... Okay, so it mills them out. So basically, as well as healing you, if they've attacked you last turn, which they almost certainly will, they also mill the top card of their deck, which just means discards the top card of their deck. Finally, we've got 2 Umbron Informants, which allows you to draw cards equal to the number of cards your enemy has. So if they've got a big hand and they've got 7, 8, 9 cards, you can play down Umbron Informant and draw that many cards as well. Again, I'm not sure if this is too useful in the Dolo deck, because Dolo is going to have loads of hand cards, but, you know, sometimes it could come in useful, I guess. Finally, the buffs. Now, let's get a buff, and let's talk about what they do. So buffs are cards that stay in play. So you'll play down a buff, and then every turn, it will rotate until it's either removed from play by an opponent's card effect, or it rotates back to its original position and expires. So, let's read this one here. So, Magma Worm. It does rotate damage to your target, and then you reduce your target's healing received by rotate. So, that means that this little symbol here means this value here. So, the first time you play it down, nothing happens. Next turn, when it rotates, you deal 1 damage and reduce their healing by 1. Next turn, you do 2, and then the turn after, you do another 2. So, that's the kind of core concept of how buffs work. So, imagine it as kind of out of turn damage. So, while this is ticking away and dealing damage, 1 damage, 2 damage, 2 damage, you also get to play your additional 2 cards as well. So, we really like Magma Worm. What's next in the deck? Prism Cannon. Okay, so big one. So, Prism Cannon has 3 blank sides, and that means that nothing happens for 3 turns. It's got to rotate. You play it down, nothing happens. Turn 2, nothing happens. Turn 3, nothing happens. But turn 4, you're going to hit them for 8 damage. So we really like that. And yeah, it just does what it says. You just got to wait. But if you're patient and if your opponent cannot get rid of it, you will get the 8 damage off. So let's have a look at these 2 here. What have we got? Now, there are some buffs that don't have a value. That just means that the effect on it won't have a numerical rule. So, Stone Scribe here says, instead of discarding, so after you've played a card, instead of it going to your discard pile, store cards under this card. If this buff expires, so once it rotates all the way around, move its stored cards back to the deck. So, essentially, this is a way to never deck out. So all your used cards go under this. So when that goes, that will go underneath here like this. And then when that expires, if it expires, there are cards that can spin it. We won't go into it, but there are cards that can manipulate it. All those discarded cards get to go back into your deck. So I can see the deck here has one Stone Scribe. We have another buff here. This one just stays in play. Now this one is a cornerless buff. It means it doesn't expire unless your opponent gets rid of it. So they're really strong. Or it will, but it will resolve if its effect finishes off. So you play down this buff, and this buff says cancel the next attack against you. So as soon as your opponent plays an attack, it cancels it. This buff expires. So here we go. Colossi Ritual Site. So some buffs don't have 4 corners. That just means that after their second one, the effect happens, and then next turn, they just disappear. So they're just shorter buffs. And this one says, increase damage done to other heroes and reduce damage received by tap. So, yep, we really like that. And finally, Mountain Fall. Now, it's good here because we've actually got to cover all the buffs. So some buffs don't have circular corners, they have irregular corners. That means every turn they don't rotate. They only rotate when their keyword is met. So that means that right now, when I play it down, I'm reducing all damage I get by 3. But as soon as I reduce that damage, it rotates. And then again, they play another card, I reduce the damage by 3, it rotates. Same again, same again. Once it spins back to its original position, the card is discarded. And finally here, we have one last buff, which is Enchanted Soil, which is just a healing buff. So nothing happens this turn, but the next 3 turns you'll heal for the value on each corner. So let's have a look at the combo cards. So combo cards, as I said before, are cards that take up your whole turn. When you play them, your turn is over. You resolve their effect, you draw a card, and that's it. And they're used, you pay with combo cards, so you'll need to pay this cost. So Inferno says you need to take 2 cards from your hand that have the fire element and put them back into your deck. So if I had 2 flame bats in my hand, I could shuffle them into my deck and play Inferno and deal 10 damage straight to my opponent. So a really good card. Next, we have a big one. We have Wall of Mountain here, which takes Crystal, Fire and Mountain, and it deals 12 damage. And then their opponent also shuffles 2 cards from their hand back into their deck, 2 action cards. So that's really good as well. Impenetrable Shield, immune to damage. So it's a 2 corner, so for 2 turns you're immune to damage, and this does not count as damage reduction. So we really, really like that. This does not count as damage reduction, stops cards like Sneaky Creeble from dealing damage to you. So we like that, and again, I think we're getting a good example here of Mountain's ability to both attack and defend, but also control your opponent's hand with their ability to send cards from your opponent's hand back to the deck. And almost finally, penultimately, Crystal Skim, damage reduction, reduce it by 4, 4, 4, 4. It will just spin, reducing damage. And now finally, Stream of Tantos, 7 healing and 6 damage to your target. So that's a really good one because that's a big swing. That's a 13, is that 13, 7, 8, 9, 10? Yep, that's a 13-way swing. Obviously 7 up for you, 6 down to your opponent. And when I mean swing, they go up, or you go up, they go down in their life. So we really like that. So, if you're a new player then, what do you want to do once you've got the Mountain starter deck? So, if you're completely new to TCGs, I'd recommend buying sleeves. I see some new players still play without sleeves. Sleeves are protective plastic casings that fit your cards. I'm using some Pokemon sleeves here. Other sleeves are available. And they'll just stop your cards from damaging here. They stop the edges from wearing out. They let you shuffle them safely. Next, choose a theme. Do you like aggressive playstyles? Are you a defensive playstyle? Do you like a bit of both? And then build on those cards that you like. Buy booster packs, which will give random cards, and you could get extra rare cards in there for you. Buy another starter deck, because by buying starter decks, you can get additional copies of things like Evoc Relics, Flame Bats. You'll get your... Each deck comes with 5 exclusive cards, which are often really good. So you'll be able to get more of those exclusive cards as well. So we like that. You can mix decks. You know, there are 6 colours in this game. And say you like Dolo, but you like Dolo and you like the tech faction, which is orange. You can mix the decks together as well. You'll just need to get an item card that will allow you to use the tech elements. Or if you want a tech deck, a mountain item that will let you use one of these elements here. Next, find people to play. If you go on to the Discord, the online Lightseekers League is a great resource for players all over the world to come and talk about their cards and also to play games over Skype or just over the Discord channel. So we like that. Join Lightseekers Marketplace on Facebook as well. Join the official forums. Ask questions there. The best way is just to get playing. And I'm sure you'll love it like I do. So thanks very much. This has been U2. And if you stuck around for the full 20 minutes, congratulations to you. It's supposed to be a 5-minute video. So thanks very much. This is U2. And stay tuned for my next deck video for which will be a tech stall control deck. I think some of you hardcore gamers out there will get a real kick out of it. Anyway, U2 signing off. Thank you very much.